Hello, hello, and welcome back as my search for the perfect pie continues among the most claptrap, run-down, cluttered building code violation the world has ever known. In Perfidious, Pete plays What Remains of Edith Finch. I can tell you one thing that doesn't remain in Edith Finch, and that is a deep and abiding love for good pie. That's for damn sure, because this recipe... No, I don't. The Finch family, they got no idea what they're doing. They're making pie here with store-bought pie crusts. A crime which, honestly, I feel should be punishable by death. A true pie aficionado, if you're using store-bought pies, yeah, you deserve to die. Also, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 450 degrees for 10 minutes before reducing the heat. Man, you're over-baking the apples. The fruit mix is going to be all rubbery and nasty, man. You're taking any kind of crunch out, and without the crunch, what's the point of using apples in the first place? Good Lord, it's not a member, it's not a wonder that that every single member of the Finch family that Edith has mentioned so far is dead. If you force me to spend an eternity in this weird Harry Potter style architecture, honestly, what is kind of a filthy house, and I'm really wondering why they got so many cans of fish on the table here, but in what is sort of a filthy house and then also being forced to eat disgusting overbaked pies, I'm telling you, it would only be a matter of time before I headed up to that little, like, chimney stack room that's up at the top of the house and just flung myself out the window. An eternity in this place is bad enough, because an eternity of anything is basically hell, doesn't matter what it is. On a long enough timeline, any activity becomes hellish if engaged in a long enough time, but an eternity of eating mediocre pie, that's worse than hell. That's a fate worse than death, and really, suicide would be the only rational solution in that case. Plus, man, come on, this is apple pie, Finches. Apple pie is your baseline pie. It's the taupe hallway of pies. It's the beige Volvo of pies. It's neither good nor bad. It's just like the median average pie by which all other pie is measured. And if you're a pie maker who can't manage a top quality apple pie, you gotta hang up your rolling pin, dog. Your days are done. Just give it up.
How after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except
this
our
is
cat,
canned
Molly.
salmon. Okay. Is Molly dead too? I think Lewis is also dead. I mean, if we want to see specifically who is dead, the answer is everyone. Lewis died in 2010. Milton croaked in 2003. Gus bought the farm in 1982. Dawn managed to buck it until 2016, which means maybe Dawn is Edith's mother, perhaps? Gregory, he had a good run, 76 to 77. Poor kid, never even got to see Star Wars. Walter managed to... Walter had an okay run. He was close to 50. What's with the tragically young deaths, though? Not only does everybody in his family die, everybody in his family dies young. 10 years old, what do we got? 16... 11. 11 seems to be a popular age. Milton was 11 when he bought it too. Lewis made it to 22, so I suppose that's okay. Edith, considering it's 2017 right now, is at least of the age of majority. She made it to voting date before she got croaked. Dawn is like the only person who had any sort of reasonable run at all. Okay, I mean, Odin made it to 57. Ingeborg doesn't even have dates. Don't marry into the Finch clan, I guess, is what you're saying, unless you're really looking to be a widow and want to inherit this sweet house. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what remains of Edith Finch. The guy who married her because he knew she was going to be dead soon, he just wanted to inherit her house. Was there a box of dishes in her room? What is that noise? What's making that noise, though? Oh, it's like the exhaust vent is rattling? All right, somebody needs to check that out. We gotta get like something put over the top of that to keep the wind out of there. The Pacific Pantry, Mrs. Bell's Bakery. Let's hope Mrs. Bell's Bakery has better pie recipes than what we got working on the counter here. Notorious Chef, the Book of Mushrooms. Yeah, that's what I always want to see on the counter there. The Big Book of Mushrooms. What kind of psilocybins can you bake into a pie? Tasting Thailand, Flavors of India. Flour, salt, water, yeast. Got to be some kind of like bread cookbook. Fanny Farmer Jr. Cookbook, the Book of Mushrooms. We got 2 copies of the Book of Mushrooms. I'm starting to get alarmed here. No wonder these Finches keep dying. They're doing hallucinogenic mushrooms and hanging themselves in a closet. You guys got to knock that shit off. Stop making hallucinogenic mushroom pie. Making magic mushroom pie. Lovely china. Nice big sparrow. Little nod to developers there. Plates all have a giant sparrow on them. Or is that a big giant sparrow, or is that just a finch? Actually, that's a finch, not a sparrow. Alright, so I guess they're just keeping with the family names. It's less creative than I thought. Lot of wine, I gotta say here. Finch family got a Johnny Depp-style wine budget. 30 grand a month? Pfft. You're just one man. Wait till there's like 25 of you, Depp. You get the Finch family to feed.
From the night we left.
So I'm sort of getting the impression that the Finch family all left in a rush, as if in flight of some particular dread or horror, but that it didn't really do them a whole hell of a lot of good. I got a fairy. Another picture of a fairy, possibly the same fairy we rode in on. Two kids poking at a fire with a stick next to Walter White's Winnebago. I guess they were getting the fire ready so that Jesse and Walter could cook up a nice sweet batch of crystal meth. Two kids sitting on a log. A window that goes back out into the garage. A floating house, because that's the thing that houses often do. Another picture of the same fairy. I don't know if you're just reusing, I don't know, well, okay, two explanations here. One, the development team is just reusing a texture, which, shame on you. I mean, it's like 2 feet from the other one, guys. Or, secondly, somebody in the Finch family really fucking loved that fairy.
Killing everyone, but sparing the furniture.
Did somebody, like, rupture this pressurized oxygen cylinder? Who is Edie, by the way? So, Edie, not Edith. We could have... How come nobody's been here to clean up? I got from what Edith is saying that it's been, like, a considerable length of time. Can't help but notice the more spilled wine, by the way. I'm starting to wonder if the Finch clan doesn't have a fucking problem. You know, addiction can be hereditary here, Finches. Is that what the deal is? You guys got up because there was, like, an intervention, and everybody's like, an intervention! Cheese it! It's the cops! Orca, what's this? Public market. Okay, got some photos there. Love this Tiffany lamp, man. Okay, Edith, if you do nothing else, what you should do, steal this lamp and sell it on eBay. That thing's gonna be worth a fortune, man. You can make a mint! A Viking's belly. Raw fowl. Yeah, nothing like the deliciousness of uncooked poultry, folks. Get yours today. Nordic Cookbook, Pacific Coast Seafood, From Cove to Stove, Holiday Feast, The Witch's Kitchen, The Pleasures of Japanese Cooking, Made of Meat. Why is it that some of the titles on this bookshelf seem like the sort of thing that you would expect to find in the kitchen of the Chainsaw Massacre guys? Because, you know, I'd like to remind you, Chainsaw Massacre 2, they were killing people to make them into chili. And, we're beginning to wonder if it's not just only a matter of time here.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Did she not make it? I'm guessing she didn't make it based on the fact that her oxygen tank and wheelchair are still here. So Edie was great-grandma. Hold on a second. How old was great-grandma Edie? Edie. Okay, Edie was the one Finch who managed to live a reasonably long lifetime. Homegirl was 93. That's a pretty good run, actually. Still looks pretty good for 93. At 93, I mean, are you really going to be that concerned with where you live? I'm not even sure I'd want to live to be 93. That's a long damn time to have to be alive. That's a lot of bullshit to have to put up with through the world. And it's not like those last...
The house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it. Like a smile with too many teeth.
Too much house or too much garbage? Because if you're talking about the garbage, I'm on board with you, Edith. This place is cluttered as shit. You need to get a, like, Martin Yan in here to work on the feng shui.
Had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house after it sank.
Sank? Like a ship. Ah, I love the... Okay, the animation there for that text flying up the chimney was actually pretty damn cool. How did your house sink, though? Sank where and into what is then the questions that follow. Is like the Titanic? Was somebody sitting on the very top of the chimney bricks going, Edie, don't let go. And then when you died, she totally let go and just watched as your body slipped beneath the cool waves? Can we go outside? Can we go out here? I mean, the view from the patio is delightful. Is there any chance we can go out there? I don't even see a door. Wait a minute, this is a patio to nowhere. How do we get out there? I want to go out on the patio and enjoy the view. We got like a Weber grill over there. We got plenty of... Oh, hey, we could grill ourselves some salmon. Be sweet. Is this table made of one giant log? That's a cross-cut section of like a really big... That's actually a pretty cool idea. I'm telling you, some of the furnishings here in the Finch family household are pretty badass. If we could just get somebody in here to deal with the clutter, for instance... I don't want to fire shots, Finches, but a stack of books is not a fucking entertainment center. That's all I'm going to say. This right here, fucking unacceptable. Even a college kid would get some cinder blocks that they stole from the library that's being constructed on campus and chuck a 2x6 on there. Something, you're just going to straight up stack it on a pile of books? I'm getting the feeling like this is the Pacific Northwest, which isn't exactly the most tectonically stable location of all time. Earthquake hits, you're looking at having to buy yourself a new television, Finches. That's just bad design. The Big Book of Homeschooling. Well, I mean, I suppose that would explain the Viking's Belly and the many, many, many treatises on how to cook with mushrooms. The Aleph. 100 years of... What? 100 years of... I can't make out that word. The Weird. Time and the Gods, A Dreamer's Tale. These aren't... You know what, Finches? These aren't real books. That's it. I've decided. These... That child is fucking terrifying. Also, I see we have the ghost... A photo of the ghost of Dorothy and the Wicked Witch of the West. Why does she have a disembodied head impaled on her broom? There's just a head floating in the middle of that fireplace, and she's got it skewered on her... This is someone's last known photo. Also, man, that kid is real creepy. Is that mud on her hands? No, I think what we all know what's that's her covered in the blood of her first kill. That's blood on her hands, and that's the blood of her first victim. Look, Mommy, I got my first kill today. Okay, so somebody was homeschooled. Gravity's Rainbow. All right, there's a title I actually recognize, and Gravity's Rainbow is pretty good. Swedish folk tales, The Book of Sand. That sounds like a fantastic read. I don't know about you, chat, but I can't wait to read The Big Book of Sand. I bet every page just says, like, it chafes a lot, don't get it in your ass crack. The Metamorphosis, okay, some Ovid, got Swan's Way. What else we got over here? Swan's Way, not quite as good as Carlito's Way, but I suppose it'll do in a pinch. Maybe it's a swan named Carlito. Got a copy of Jabberwocky. You know what? Jabberwocky does not need to be that big. Jabberwocky is a poem by Lewis Carroll. It has like 7 stanzas total, and I think they're 4 lines apiece. I don't really think you need a whole book for the Jabberwocky. You could get it on one page pretty reliably. I don't know if I'm ready for the basement yet. Another Tiffany lamp. Man, this place is rolling in Tiffany lamps, though. 1 Tiffany lamp, 2 Tiffany lamps, 3 Tiffany lamps, these 4 Tiffany lamps. These Finches are freaking rich as shit, dog. Edith, I'm telling you, you got to get this stuff, put it in a box, and crank it out to eBay, man. You could walk away a wealthy woman here. There's all the weird blue birds just crouched everything. I mean, this one, oh, that one's dead. I'm sorry. There's been a death in your family. Here I am mocking you for being weird, but clearly, it's not that you're weird, birds. You're just in mourning. I've insulted a grief-stricken... You know what? I'm just going to go. I'm sorry. What's in Barbara's box? Why does What's in Barbara's box sound like a Japanese game show, by the way, where a woman named Barbara inserts things into her vagina? You have to guess what it is.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Okay, Great-Grandpa Sven. There's Barbara Finch right there. who was apparently some manner of director. Also, this music box is fucking horrifying, by the way. Why does it have a picture of a Sasquatch in the background? I mean, that's a picture of Bigfoot right there, and then the creepy dancing little girl with the flopping around legs. We gotta give this baby another whirl. I mean, look at this. This hideous, sort of faceless little simulacrum? Homunculus, I think is actually the word I'm going for. It's got the most pointed elfin chin. Okay, I can't look at this anymore. Please go away. Sasquatch, eat that child and let's have done. So what's Barbara's deal? Barbara Finch is on the set of what appears to be a film, but My Friend Bigfoot. Created by Corona Pictures? Licensed by Corona? I can't make out that word. So Barbara was into Bigfoot movies? Oh, good. Taxidermied insects. Well, I mean, I guess at least one of the Finches was a fucking serial killer then. Probably more. One or more serial killers. You don't normally see this kind of stuff on the walls of the homes of people who don't engage in ritualistic murder. It's just, yeah. So that must be our mom. The little one is probably us, and I'm guessing the other two are Lewis and Milton. So I wonder if Lewis or Milton was the serial killer. If they are, problem solved, because we have it on good authority that they're already dead. It's a real big violin. In fact, that's definitely not a violin. It's probably like a cello, and I know there's a name for the instrument that's sized between a violin and a cello, and I can never remember the name of it. I know it exists, I just don't remember what it is. We can't turn on the lights. Now, you know what? Turning the lights won't do any good. Power's out. We already learned that. This takes us back to the kitchen then, okay? Can we explore any more of the ground floor? I mean, we can go in this room, right?
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Okay. I mean, we definitely got to get in the basement now, though, right? That's probably where the serial killer who framed all of these beetle pictures, and also scorpions, millipedes, and... Wait, is that a millipede or a centipede? I guess it's a centipede. It looks like one set of legs per segment. On the right... Okay, hey, it's Perfidious Pete's natural lesson today. This has been your etymology lesson with Perfidious Pete. On the left, we have a centipede. Notice that the centipede is defined as having a single pair of legs per articulated body segment. Whereas on your right, you'll see your garden variety millipede, as denoted by the fact that it has more than one set of legs per thorax segment. This has been Naturalist Hour with Perfidious Pete. Whoa, 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 what's this a picture of? Oh, never mind. That's just... This is... How come every photo in this house is somebody's last known photo? This guy is the last known photo before another tree fell on him and crushed him. This is somebody's last known photo. It's just that somebody is not pictured because it's got the blood on the hands of Edie's first victim. This is the last known photo of that kid in a red backpack just before they found his body washed up 16 miles downriver, all bloated after he got shoved off of a cliff. This house is real disturbing. You know what? I kind of don't want to go downstairs now. I've thought better of my initial inclination to go downstairs was probably a bad one. I really want to go back outside. Can I go back outside? I don't feel like I got to wander out of doors enough. I want to go back out. There is nothing in that room that I would ever... Hold on a second. So the door is going to be, I mean, definitely locked. Then it's got a wooden bar across it that's secured with double hasp steel bolts, as well as an additional lock. And the door has been, what appears to be like either caulked or epoxied shut. What the fuck is in there? Also, what's up with the weird, like, stack of books? It's as if this this house has been haunted by ghosts who are really, really, really into symmetrical book stacking. Just like the San Francisco disturbance of 1909. Okay, so this is another poster for Milton, right?
Much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Until she died, at which point I guess then she figured out the answer. What's in this? Hurricane lamp? Okay. Foam packing peanuts. What do we got here?
Behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
You know what, Edith? I'm getting a little tired of the pronoun game here you're playing. Most of your sentences all cryptically trail off into nothing. Why is that? Could you complete a fucking thought at some point in your life? You keep talking about the whirlwind of that last night and mentioning, oh, our last night here and how everything was rushed and things were fine until that last night. Just come out and tell us what happened. Stop referring to everything as that last night. Also, if television and movies have taught me anything, it's that if I ride in this little chair, it's going to drive me up to the top, spin me around in a circle, and ultimately fling me out a window to my death, because that's how these little chairlift things always work in movies. I mean, I saw Gremlins. I know how that's going to go. And since I've seen Gremlins and know how that's going to go, I actually think maybe this is where we'll wrap up this episode. Yeah, you know what? Okay, let's go to the top of the stairs. Then we'll probably wrap this episode up. And again, symmetrical book stacking here. What's...
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then
yeah,
she retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Okay. So Mom then sealed up the peepholes with caulk? Is every room in here? Yep, every single one. Oh, wait, can we look in here? Oh.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
So she was a child star for exactly one movie in which she was the star of I'm the Big... Well, we got to go back downstairs then and peep in that one room. So I just figured Mom would have thrown gum over the peepholes, but is this what we do? Do we just wander around and look in peepholes then? Hey, safety on the stairway. You're taking these like 6 at a time, Edith. You're going to break your leg, girl. Can we peep in here? We can.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Yeah, that's not at all a fucking disturbing sentiment, is it? No, I mean, that's reassuring. Every Finch who ever lived is buried in the library, because that's where I hid the bodies. All right. Yep, I'm good then. Everything about the Finch family, the more exposed I get to them, the more horrible they seem. So I'm going to check out. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comment section. Support really does mean a lot. If you'd like to see more of where the bodies are buried, you might consider subscribing as well. Post new episodes of what remains of Edith Finch for as long as it lasts. Again, as I'm told, the total experience here, I think, is only about 3.5, 4 hours. So I don't expect this to be an extraordinarily long series, but if you want to catch it all, you might consider subscribing. Right now, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon.